is, what type of musician are you?
I'm a drummer.
Okay.
But I kind of play a lot of different stuff. It's hard to kind of just be, like, if you love music and if you kind of, like, wired to play music, it's kind of hard just to do one thing.
Right.
So
would
like,
you say you could play, like, more than just the drums? Like, if you could pick up on another instrument easily?
Yeah, like, I'm always playing acoustic guitar or piano, so I kind of play, almost anything, but drums would be, like, the main thing. But
That's awesome. When and why did you start playing?
Really, I started playing when I started actually playing music when I was in 5th grade because I wanted to be in band and I wanted to play an instrument. And I guess the opportunity was brought up, but my whole family has a history of music, so I was automatically thought, like, I'm going to play something someday. And then when I was in school, they gave you the option, like, well, what do you want to play? And it just seemed like I should play drums because I wouldn't have to. I wanted to play music, and I knew that if I had to rent an instrument, my parents wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah.
So the only instrument I could play in school and not have to buy something would be drums. I'd just show up with drumsticks, and they'd give me drum lessons and, play an instrument that was already at school.
Awesome.
So
that was my next question. So would you describe your family as influencing your music abilities? Or did you, so they influenced you, but you discovered the drums on your own?
Yeah, they influenced me, and there were times where, my mom sang and put out, a gospel tape.
Okay.
So I was all around that music, and my sister was into music she's 5 years older than me, so the music she was into was more aggressive and more, drums-centered, more rhythm-centered. Okay. So my brother is 6 years older than me. He had a snare drum that he tried to play when he was a kid and just left it in our closet. So I always had this fascination with that drum, I wish I could play a drum roll. If I could just play a drum roll, that'd be so cool. And that's when I'm 11 years old. So I started band when I was 12, I think. And it was I already have a snare drum in my closet at home. And I tried to play drums at church before. My brother tried to show me just how to keep a drum beat. So I was around church music all the time, but I also had this kind of rebellious older sister that listened to actually cool. So between the two of them, it was I just wanted to play music, and I'd never tried singing. My mom played a little guitar, and it was that was fun, but drums just seemed more physical and interesting, and then. So my family influenced, a lot to do with music, but then when I had the opportunity to go for something, I figured, drums just seemed like the easiest thing to go for. And then it just worked out. And then by the time I was, within the next year or so, I was actually playing drums at churches with my mom singing. So,
that's awesome.
I was able to
kind of experience while you were younger.
Yeah, pretty shortly after playing, I jumped right in and became kind of part of the, just one other person in the family that can play something.
Sweet. That's awesome. So my next question was if you had a formal education or if you taught yourself. But you said you learned through school. But did you have any other education? Did you learn anything yourself? Or was it mostly through your band at school?
It was all through band at school to begin with. But the school that I went to, they wouldn't teach you anything about a drum set.
Okay.
So I wanted to play drums, and a snare drum's just one part of a drum set. But at school, they would give us drum lessons, and by the time I got in high school, everybody that was in 7 through 12 were all in the same band.
Oh.
So our high school band went from 7th grade to 12th grade. So I was instantly around really good drummers that actually did take lessons and played on a high level. So I was influenced by them to get better. But I didn't know anybody that played drum set or anyone around me that played drum set, and I didn't get any lessons for it. I just played all the way through high school, and just listening to music on my own and playing drums along to it.
Yeah.
And after doing that for years. See, what school did was it taught me how to read and write rhythm. And then once I understood that, I could listen to music or I could buy books and I could write out my own patterns of what I'm listening to or practice drum set along to a book because I understood how to read rhythm. So, but that was just from snare drum lessons, at school.
So you wanted more. You wanted to get more out of music.
Yeah, so as soon as they taught me how to read, and that was day one in 5th grade, they were teaching me how to read, real simple music notation. I didn't have to learn a note on a scale. It was just rhythmic notes.
Okay.
So then I realized, these notes are all in just one snare drum, or when you're in concert band, you'll play a bass drum or a timpani. But I usually just stuck with bass drum and snare drum and then played in a marching band all through high school. And we always had good drum instructors.
Okay.
So, but once I had the ability to learn to read rhythm, then I was able to basically take that and teach myself how to play drum set, not just snare drum.
Mm-hmm.
And that just came from playing I went years without missing a day. Every single day, just coming home and the first thing I would do is go up to my room and play drums before anybody else got home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And then in the beginning I had some education as far as snare drum went, and then I taught myself drum set, and then, I was maybe 6 or 7 years out of high school. I decided I wanted to go to music school for a year, and actually I took one drum set lesson, and but I learned so much about music that helped.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it helped my overall mindset as a musician. They taught me how to read and play piano the right way,
mm-hmm.
and a lot about music theory. And whether it's drums or guitar or you're just a vocalist, the more you understand about music holistically, the better of a musician you can be. If I play drums in a musical way, there are drummers that could be